Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, where today we will be taking a look at the Era 3 Premium Heavy, the MBT-80. For those of you short on time, here is my quick overview. The MBT-80 is the current Ultimate Season Pass reward tank, and so can be yours for as little as 6,000 gold. And given the cheapest Era 2 Premium recently sold for 7,700 gold, getting an Era 3 Premium for less than the cost of an Era 2 Premium, well, that's a steal in my opinion. But the real question is the MBT-80 any good? Short answer is yes. The 80 is not as good, but feels similar to the Premium Leclerc the piece sells. The MBT-80 has great turret armor, 602mm in total, measured flat, but with the angle at the front of the turret, the armor value is going to be greater than that, but I don't actually know what the real horizontal armor value is for the front of the turret. But it is angled. I'd say at probably 45 degrees, so if you can do the math on whatever those numbers are. But 602mm flat is pretty good. And I'll put that into perspective for you. I've seen an 80 bounce a 292 off the front of its turret, which by all measures, that's pretty good. The playstyle for the 80 is very similar to the Charlie 2. Turret front is strong, hull front is weak, turret cupola is the turret weak point, which in all honesty that's completely standard for a British heavy in this game. All in all, the 80 feels like a good tank that is well balanced, and I like it. And for 6,000 gold, you can't go wrong. It's worth that much gold in my opinion. Alright then, let's take a look at the 80 in a little more detail. Earlier, I said that it felt similar to the piece cells, so what I'll do is I'll compare the 80 to the piece cells. The 80 comes in with 515mm of penetration on its standard rounds, each of which will do an average of 550 damage. The PS, comparatively, has 633mm of pen and 550 average alpha. That is a penetration difference of 118mm. That's quite a lot. That's not a small number. The 80 has 3,900 hit points, while the PS has 3,600. The 80 will do 69 km an hour unboosted, and likewise the PS will do 72 km an hour. The 80 has 525 meters of view range and still concealment of 480. And comparatively the PS has 565 meters of view range and still concealment of 482. So those are the high level stats. On paper, the PS does look a lot better, especially with the superb penetration on its standard rounds. The PS also has very good turret armor, but the odd thing for me is this. Despite the PS being the better tank, I actually like the feel of the 80 more, and that could be down to the fact that the 80 has 10 degrees of gun depression while the PS only has 8. It doesn't sound like a massive difference, doesn't sound like a huge advantage, but when you consider that you'll be playing 50-50 this game, 50% of your time you'll be playing at range, that extra 2 degrees can make a huge difference. Not to mention the weak spot on top of the turret of the 80. There is a weak spot there, but at range it's a very difficult target to hit. It would, at this point, I'll add, it would be amiss of me if I didn't mention that the PS was a standalone custom Era 3 Premium, and the 80 is a Season Pass tank. So with that in mind, I would hope for and expect more from the PS than the 80. For that reason alone. I do enjoy playing the 80 because it's reminiscent, for me anyway, it's reminiscent of my old World War II days spent in the Tier 9 Conqueror. Keep it hull down and it won't let you down. The one area where the 80 does beat out the PS is the economy stats. The 80 has 55% silver boost, 15% tank XP boost, 4% free XP boost, and finally a 15% crew XP boost. Nothing mega there, but, still not terrible. One final thing to mention, and I'm not sure why this is the case, The MBT-80 the MBT-80 is bottom tier of Era 3, so we'll just call that tier 1. And the Peace Cells is middle of Era 3, so we'll call that tier 2. The Peace Cells sold for 14,000 gold, but out of season the MBT-80 will cost you 17,000 gold. Why a tier 1 costs more than a tier 2 is beyond me, but those are the figures provided by Wargaming. So if you want the 80, get it now while it will only cost you 6,000 gold. In summary then, I think the MBT-80, it's a good tank. It's not the best Era 3 premium heavy, but it is certainly not the worst. Right now, I'm just happy that this premium isn't another overpowered handout like we've seen from previous season and previous weeks. It feels balanced, it's relatively cheap, and I honestly think that this would be a very good tank to collect. Okay folks, that's all I have for this one. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, if not a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.